Maddie and Steve, they set the stage. From classic bouts to the modern age. Every slam, every story, every legacy comes alive with wrestling pedigree. So tune on in, the spotlight's bright. The ring is ready on this podcast night. It's Wrestling Pedigree.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new episode of Wrestling Pedigree. I'm your co-host, Matty, and with me, once again, I just noticed his headline. The last real general manager of MWL, and the one that actually will say, fuck Vince Russo. Steve Hawkins, how are you, sir?
Oh, Matty, it has been a day. I've been looking into 99 to 2001 WCW, and oh man, this hurts. This hurts a lot.
This hurts for you a lot more than it hurts me. For me, it's just fun just to fuck on Vince Russo. So it's gonna be fun. So let's get into it. As we done last week's episode was on about the NWL and their NWO for their history. We decided let's do a bit of negativity a bit. I think what the fuck happened in this period in WCW, because I'm a big WCW mark. You're the big WCW mark. I feel what the hell happened, and we'll find out tonight. So let's get into it. January the 4th, 1999.
Oh no, we're diving right into this.
It is the first episode in 1999. So give you a massive clue what the fuck we were coming into. Right. In WWF, what was the main event on this day?
On that day? I believe that was when Mick Foley won the first championship.
Absolutely. And Tony Schiavone said
that'll put butts in seats.
By God, I think it was like 500,000 people changed over the channel, according to Nelson rating. However, I can understand why they want people to change over now, because the finger poke of doom. Hulk Hogan versus Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash would defend his World Heavyweight title. I mean, they could have gone at least 10 minutes. I mean, Triple H and HBK, like we said last week, did a parody, but at least it was a wrestling match.
Right.
Oh, how did you feel when you saw that evil finger tap the chest of Kevin Nash?
Well, I switched over to Raw.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you straight up, I did not see this live. I switched over to Raw. But then, of course, the next day I'm online. I'm looking at WrestleView. I'm looking at WrestleCrap, WrestleZone. And they're all talking about the finger poke of doom. And I go, what the fuck is the finger poke of doom? So I start reading and I went, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Who booked this shit? And then I looked and I went, then I realized, oh, that's right. They hired Russo as their head booker.
Yeah, at that point, it was him and Ed Ferrara.
Yep.
We'll talk a lot about Ed Ferrara in this show. It was so bad, and it's kind of bad that they had Jay Leno have Hulk Hogan in a fucking wrist lock. Now they have this, which is two world-class wrestlers, and I will say they're world-class.
Yep.
And yet, a finger poke. This gave you hindsight of what was going to happen in the next couple of years, surely.
Oh, I don't think this even gave us a touch of what was going to be happening in the next couple of years.
Can you imagine any other wrestlers that could have done what Hogan and Nash did?
DX, but that's it.
But would they do the finger poke, or would they actually just do what they did in '97?
I could have seen at one point, if the roles were reversed and Shawn and Hunter went over to WCW as the NWO instead of Hall and Nash, I could have seen this happening.
I agree. However, what they did in '97 was for the European title and not the main title.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different. There's so much. I have a list here, which is just some of the bullshit that the Russo and whoever was booking in WCW back then. One of them I found out as I did my research today was March the 8th, 1999, Monday Nitro. They had no matches.
You know, I kind of remember that.
They had no matches. Kevin Nash was the booker.
Yep.
There was no matches at all. I think Kevin actually was Vince Russo in WCW at 1999, like beginning of 1999.
Yep. I do believe so.
So I don't get how Kevin Nash was the booker then for.
I think Nash was booking and Russo was head of creative.
So he was just doing all the vignettes that you saw on there, and he was just like, "Yeah, you could do that." Okay, I'll give you that. There's so much to go on; it's just crazy. Let's go for the first 4 months. So we have Hogan as a world champion.
Mm-hmm.
How long did he have that title? Do you remember?
69 days.
And who? So we're going from what's that? January. We're going from March.
Yeah,
March. Who beat him?
Yeah,
then? I can't remember who beat him.
Flair in a first blood match.
So 1999. I remember this roster. It was a really good roster. You had Booker T, Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner at one point. Buff Bagwell, Alex Wright. A really good Rey Mysterio gimmick here with his mask come off and he's part of the Filthy Animals. Billy Kidman, K-Dog. You have some really good young wrestlers. And you have Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair for the 1,000th time in WCW in a first blood match, where both of them could bleed just with me and you just tapping on their head.
Yep.
Oh God. Oh dear. This is going to be such a fun fucking episode. Because I can already tell that you're just getting fucking pissed off with it. There is a match. I know we're going to go into a bit of 1999, 2000, 2001. I found this match out. I have no idea where it was because it won't give me the information for it. However, it was a Junkyard Invitational Brawl match. Do you remember this?
I kind of remember it. You might have to refresh my memory, though.
So it was basically hardcore. It's kind of like what they did at WrestleMania 2000 with a hardcore title where just everybody joins, and if you want a title, just try to join.
Yeah.
It was Junkyard Invitational Brawl. The lighting, this is the most famous bit of it. The lighting was so poor that hardly anything on screen was visible. Finley won. That's all we know. But many of the workers got injured. I think the lights of... I think Norman Smiley was on this. So
yeah, because that's about the time Norman Smiley was doing his football shoulder pads.
But it's kind of crazy. it's kind of crazy where you could tell this is around the Fitz Russo era or like the Ferraro era. It's that they did not care about production
No.
in the wrestling, like as in like the wrestling matches. I mean, the lighting is so bad. I mean, WWE has been a bit of an asshole in the past couple of years because do you remember the Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins lighting?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So it's kind of similar to that, but honest, if you look on YouTube, you cannot see fuck all. You can see Fit Finlay with his hair, well, you have left of it, but that's it. 1999 was just I said, a really good shit one. Is there any moments you could stand out in 1999 that you think, holy shit?
In '99, no, that I had no holy shit moments. Like at this point, I had kind of started to tune out of WCW just because it was so bad.
Just going on to the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun one. November the 15th, 1999. Pinata on a pole match.
Yeah.
I only mention this because it has one of your favorite wrestlers in this, Juventud Guerrera.
Yep.
Do you remember this match?
Yeah, I do.
You remember what the botch was in this match?
I don't.
Oh, we should be sponsored by Botchamania tonight. I think Tucker knows what happened in this match. That's what he's shouting for.
I think so.
He is the big dog. This is so. The pinata fell off the string, went onto the floor, and Juventud, God bless him, put the pinata back up, and then got confused and won the match anyway. Literally, that was it.
Oh,
and
Jesus
what was
Christ.
worse? What was worse? Ed Ferrara at Oklahoma was on commentary.
Now that was the worst gimmick I have ever seen. It was distasteful. Fuck Vince Russo. Fuck Ed Ferrara.
Absolutely. It was such bad taste. Absolutely.
Like I'm all about making fun of people. Like I'm an asshole. I will make fun of somebody forever.
Yes.
Like you've seen me in the admin chat, just making fun of Justin nonstop.
He loves it.
But oh yeah. But this was just, it was cruel. Like this isn't something that Jim Ross could control. He has fucking Bell's palsy. He had a stroke. He couldn't move half of his face. And WCW is over there making fun of him. And you know what? Just fuck Russo, fuck Ferrara.
I think it hurt a little bit more for our fans because we saw Dr. Death, Steve Williams next to Ed Ferrara.
Yep.
And obviously, wrestling fans have much respect for Steve Williams, but you can even see Dr. Death was uncomfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
He was very uncomfortable with that. Well, mentioned Oklahoma, I found another thing which I did not know. This obviously slipped my mind while going through the history of this. I don't know if you remember this. Oklahoma, and there's a fake doctor called Dr. Jeter, not to be confused with the baseball player. It was both of them. They were a duo, and they were going around the women's wrestling locker room, and they were bitching and complaining about the women and picking on them, especially Mendoza. Yep. They picked on her facelifts, her cosmetic surgery, everything, and this is live TV, and they're belittling what they didn't even have much of a women's roster anyway, but they were belittling one of the best in Mendoza.
Yeah, like I'm not a Medusa fan at all. I've talked to you about my history and how much I do not like Medusa dash Alundra Blaze, but this was nothing less than high school bullying.
Yeah.
Like
It was.
they're making fun of people's appearance, they're making fun of people's ailments. It was so distasteful, but very on par for the type of person that Vince Russo is.
Yeah, and it kind of hurt me a little bit what they did with Macho Man, because I remember they made Macho Man get angry at Tori Wilson in the locker room, and he unfortunately slapped her, and then he dragged Gorgeous George out, and there was that unfortunate taste from Russo that he just wanted shock TV. It has to be shock. It has to be. Oh my God! Did you see WCW last night? But it was so distasteful. It was unbelievable.
And we talked about this when we had Chaz on, where he had the beaver cleavage gimmick, where that ended with him beating his girlfriend, and how distasteful that was. And you think Russo would have learned from that and said, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe this is in bad taste. Maybe it's going to come back to bite me in the ass.
And I think it did, because I think they had one of the lowest ratings on that show. Every time Oklahoma was on, the ratings were low.
Right.
Going through all the back gimmicks and all the stuff they did toss about the WCW World Heavyweight title, but a lot, and I mean a lot in 2000. One of the things they done was Bash at the Beach, 2000. Now, we if people want to know the full history of this, Dark Side of the Ring did a thing on this. I think they did a Bash at the Beach 2000 on one of their, I think, season 4. What can you remember of that match between Jeff Jarrett and Hogan? And for someone that was like, you knew some of the politics behind the scene, what the fuck was going on between these two?
When Jarrett just laid down, I was like, you know what? I don't know if this is a work or if this is a shoot. Like we know the kind of pull that Hogan has behind the scenes. We know the kind of pull that Jarrett should have behind the scenes. What's really going on with this? And I thought it was legit. I thought it was 100% a work.
What did you think when Vince Russo came down and gave that shoot promo? And swearing on pay-per-view, man. This is Bash at the Beach 2000, which is one of their, I will say that one of their top 5 pay-per-views WCW have. And you have Vince Russo swearing on there and saying, God damn it, in the ground, and fuck Hulk Hogan and shit like that. He tried, didn't he?
Yeah.
Go on.
Russo is the most distasteful person. I can't say that I've ever met because I've never met him. He's the most distasteful person I've ever heard of. This dude does not give a fuck about anything.
Unless he's winning money.
Yeah.
So obviously, he said, Hulk Hogan says, this is the reason why this company is in the shit it is, because of bullshit like this. And then he leaves, the title is vacated. Then it's Jeff Jarrett versus Booker T. Booker T wins. I think this is Booker T's first World Heavyweight title match, like world title.
Mm-hmm.
Well deserved, I think. My God, watching him Harlem Heat over the years, and he was winning US titles and everywhere, and TV titles. for him to win the big one on that day, do you think that this smirches it, or do you think people just think, yeah, it's Booker T, he's one of the best?
I think looking back at it, people don't look at what happened behind the scenes. They look at, hey, this is Booker's first championship. Well deserved. People that have dedicated their lives to loving wrestling, like you and I.
Yeah.
We look a little deeper into it. We're like, well, would this have really happened if Jarrett hadn't laid down for Hogan? Would we have Booker T as a champion? Or would they still be going with the old guard? Would they still be going with Hogan, Jarrett, Sting, Flair, Nash?
It's really, really worrying.
Yeah.
That was something for me, it's really worrying that Vince Russo is still in wrestling. He's obviously has a knack and people love him, especially up in the Northeast, where I've watched a bit of JCW. I like the wrestlers on JCW.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the content on JCW, but it's not for everyone. So they have some really talented wrestlers up there. So hopefully he can actually get them out, as obviously he's created The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
So that's vacated. All right, let's get into this because I know it's going to piss you off. David Arquette.
Fucking shit.
That's the reaction I knew was going to happen. You say that, but 6 months later, you're going to be even more pissed. David Arquette, I think it's David Arquette and DDP versus Eric Bischoff and Jeff Jarrett.
Yes.
What was your reaction? I think it's on the Thunder, but what was your reaction when David Arquette got the pin in the tag team match against pinning Eric?
16-year-old Steve. I'm sitting there watching it, and I go, "What the fuck just happened? Is David Arquette the WCW World Heavyweight Champion? What the fuck is going on in WCW?" I will say this. At least it was only a 12-day reign.
Yeah.
And now he's trained. He is wrestling. He is trying to make up for what WCW fucked up.
Yeah. Let's not forget, I think this is around the time when Scream was quite popular. And one of my favorite wrestling movies, Ready to Rumble, was out. Yeah. So it's such a great film.
It is.
It's highly, highly underrated because it's WCW 2000 in it. But it's so good that it had the likes of Sting, Goldberg, and John Cena in the background. But what's your take on the when they changed when WCW changed the Monday Nitro stage from what we used to like it when it was just like coming in as a square, but then it's like this massive star coming out.
I hated it.
How come you hated it?
Because I was used to what we had, and I did not like it. To me, it wasn't visually appealing.
What was your take when I think they changed like Nitro to like a subheading, so it was like Monday Nitro Mayhem.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that.
It got confusing, didn't it? They were changing the
Yeah.
names a bit. With the 2000, we were talking about Booker T and Jeff Jarrett. There was a special match they did. San Francisco 49ers match. However, there were no 49er players in this fucking match. Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett. There's 4 boxes. And they had to find the fucking world title in one of those boxes. It's kind of like, when I think about it now, Deal or No Deal.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, pick a box, see if it's fucking right. If not, I told you about this before we went on the air. What's your take on this unique and never again match?
Now I will be fully transparent with everybody. I don't remember shit about this match. I think that was at the time where I was fully against WCW. I was 100% Raw. Just hearing you explain it to me, I would have been watching it going, what the fuck is going on? This isn't even a wrestling match.
No, and they had other stuff. They were like hanging off each turnbuckle. You had a thing for on the pole matches, but it was boxes hanging down. What was really bad was it's kind of like a botch at the end. It was when the title was in one of the boxes. It fell out of the box, landed on the outside, and Booker T had to go out on the outside to pick it up to win. I think in one of the other boxes, Booker T found a picture of Scott Hall, and there was a very used like meme now that you see of Booker T. But yeah, it was a fucking shit show. I was more pissed off there was no 49ers players in that match than why call it San Francisco 49ers. But they were in San Fran, but my God.
Because the 49ers, actually, the name came from the people who used to dig for gold. So if they were searching for the gold, that makes sense.
They just called a 49ers match, not a San Francisco 49ers.
Were they in San Francisco on that day, though?
Yes, they were.
Then that's exactly why.
God. But again, once again, world title match. And it was a change of the title at that time also. But before we get into one of their title hot potato matches, I need to go on. We just talked about it there with the 49ers match. Stuff on a pole match. Now, 31st of July, there was a Viagra on a pole match. One of my favorite wrestlers back in the day was Shane Douglas. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Shane Douglas had a limp for Tori Wilson, and they decided, by God, it's Douglas versus Kidman, Viagra on a pole match. Now, I hate Billy Kidman because that guy's too lucky, but in life. But do you remember this match?
Sadly, yes.
What was your take on seeing South Viagra on a pole for a 16-year-old?
What the fuck is going on in WCW? What the fuck?
You happy at us? Now Viagra.
And this wasn't even the worst something on a something match.
Was there not?
I think you're forgetting Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Yes. I wouldn't say she was a bad one. At least she was champion.
Yeah. I mean, no shade to Judy Bagwell at all. I mean, she was one of the absolute highlights of the last couple of years of WCW for me.
Judy Bagwell could whoop Vince Russo's ass.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Judy Bagwell on a forklift match, Viagra on a pole match, Pinata on a pole match. there's a lot of polls. There's some I want to go over. We're talking about Billy Kidman. There was a match, sold out 2000. Do you remember the Catch Can match?
No, I do not.
So there's one rule: no leaving the ring. It's kind of like when we were on WWE 2K and you just say, no, don't leave the ring and just play a game. Literally, they put it has no competitor can leave the fucking ring. A couple of minutes in, I do believe, Dean Malenko versus Billy Kidman, Dean Malenko leaves the ring. Charles Robinson has no fucking choice but to ring the bell. Those two continue to fucking wrestle after the bell. That's how much chaotic WCW is. If you see that match on YouTube, that is the perfect example of WCW in 2000.
Jesus Christ.
When we were talking about Ready to Rumble, can you remember the cage match? Like,
yeah.
And they added it in. Did you like that concept of the cage?
I thought it was a really, really interesting concept. I could see where it had its downfalls. And they definitely needed to work some kinks out. But altogether, I thought it was a really cool concept.
I've used it when I've done MWL as a GM. I've used that as the Rage in the Cage. But we could do it our way. So what's your take when Vince Russo wins the fucking world title? In that cage.
All I could do was shake my head.
He booked himself to do that.
He did.
That's crazy. It is crazy that he did that.
And he held the title for a full week until it became vacated for the 5th time in 2000.
It was vacated. How many times were it vacated in 2000?
5 times.
5 times. So basically, vacant was the same time WCW champion as Booker T.
Yep.
That's fucking nuts.
But that's just in 2000. In 99, it was vacated 3 times.
Oh my god. I'm trying to think of when in 1999.
Let's see. Sting beat Hogan and then vacated it. Bret Hart won and then vacated it. Then he won the title again and then vacated it.
I do believe Chris Benoit won it and then vacated it. Is that 2000? Am I thinking the beginning of 2000?
Yep. Beginning of 2000, Benoit, vacant. Sid, vacant. Sid, vacant.
I'm sorry. Justin. Basically, he's right.
Yeah.
Bacon is an 8-time WCW champion. He's halfway there to Ric Flair.
Yeah, and that's just over the course of 2 years.
So no, was there any in 2001?
No, because 2001 only had 2 champions. Scott Steiner won it in 2000 and held it until the last Nitro where Booker T won it.
Yeah. We'll get on to the 2001 in a minute. But do you remember any back gimmicks between 1999 and 2001? I could name a few, but is there any that you can remember that you think, oh shit, I would have done that?
Besides Oklahoma?
Oh yeah, besides Oklahoma.
There's none off the top of my head that are jumping out at me, but I'm sure when you say it, I'm going to go, oh yeah, fuck that.
Fake Kiss?
Yep.
I mean, they had the lowest, when they had actual Kiss on, they had one of the lowest rated shows in wrestling.
Yep.
And viewer rating. I mean, that's just crazy because Kiss was awesome.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
For me, it was. Growing up on that, I was a big Kiss fan. I did dig the makeup. I liked the music. Buzzkill.
Okay. Yep.
Brad Armstrong. It was a parody of Road Dogg. He was always half baked.
Yep.
Which thinking about it, thinking of Road Dogg, he was always half baked or baked.
Yeah.
I touched on it earlier, but what was your take? I think it was run this time anyway. Mysterio unmasking.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio unmasking against Kevin Nash. What was your take on that?
I really didn't like it. I mean, as a kid, I loved Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I still loved Rey Mysterio. And he lost his mask, and I went, he looks like he's 12.
It was so funny because Kevin Nash saying, "Oh, he's ugly. He ain't. That's why he's got a mask on. He's ugly." And when Kevin Nash took the mask off, Mysterio was a good-looking bloke.
Yeah, not as good looking as Dom.
Well, I would say go to your nearest eye test and get that done. But Dom is, yeah. I mean, Dom is up there with Billy Kidman. He's fucking lucky, and I hate him. This is gonna be fun. Filthy Animals.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were really good. They for a gimmick in that couple of years.
I thought that was a great gimmick.
I thought it was. G.I. Joe? No, G.I. Booker, whatever it was.
Oh, G.I. Bro.
G.I. Bro, that's it.
Yeah, with the Misfits in action.
Yes. And I think that was Major Guns in that.
Yep. Let's see. We had G.I. Bro, Major Guns, General Erection, Corporal Cajun.
Yes. Yes. I definitely was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, I loved Lash Lurer.
Oh, it's so brilliant. That whole thing of the Misfits was so fun.
It really was. And that only came because Booker T lost the rights to the letter T.
Is that right?
Yep. Because he had that match against Big T, a.k.a. Ahmed Johnson in WWF.
I remember that.
Where the loser could not use the letter T anymore. So they weren't going to call him just Booker. So they changed his gimmick, sent him off with MIA, and made him G.I. Bro.
You know what's crazy is when he had that match, I mean, Ahmed back then was not in the right shape. He wasn't the right person. But my God, if they not have Mr. T in that match, it would have been perfect.
It would have.
Just him, the special ref. We're trying to go on positivity now because we just done 38 minutes of negativity.
Can we talk about any positivity with WCW 99 to 2001?
Well, I think 1999 to 2001 was the best Rey Mysterio at that point until he came to WWE.
Yeah,
I know.
I will also say that was my favorite version of Booker T.
Yes. Yes, it coming out as he was the people's champion of the WCW. We saw that kind of Booker T when he first came into WWE, though.
Yeah.
Trying to look at particular some positivities, but the cruiserweights were going back to Japan or WCW or to WWE, like Jericho, Eddie, Dean, Malenko, Perry Saturn, Benoit. I think the only thing that was really, really, really good in WCW during that time was when it closed.
Yes, because that very last Nitro, we got Sting versus Flair again.
Yeah.
We got Booker T defeating Scott Steiner for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The last show that they had, it was a good show.
It was a good show. Before we talk about that show, I just mostly I need to ask you the New Blood versus I think is it New Blood versus the Old Blood or something like that.
New Blood versus the Millionaires Club.
Millionaire Club, yes. I thought that was a good concept until they took every title off people.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good concept too. I liked them, kind of pushing the young guys. And I think that's something that they should have started doing toward the end of 98, beginning of 99.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to talk more about this next or over the weekend when I host a fantasy booking right here on Wrestling Pedigree with my buddy Ryan. But there's so many different things that they could have done. Push the young talent, start weeding out the Hogans and Flairs and Nashes. Kind of push them to the back, kind of like John Cena did for a good deal of the time that he was on his retirement tour. Yeah, he was champion for a while, but for the most part, he was back. He was doing matches that people wanted to see. Do that with Hogan. Do that with Flair. Have these young up-and-comers beat them. Kind of pass the torch. Make Booker T the face of WCW in like the beginning of 99.
It's crazy. Like I'm thinking about it's like the Booker T matches that you had with Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash. They were really good, but then you think of Scott Steiner coming out with a tiger.
Yeah.
Then you got Scott Sid Vicious getting angry about his car.
Yep.
Being crushed, which today is still used as a meme. It's Goldberg being a heel for the New Blood, and then you got Bret Hart as a NWL remake. Then you got Jeff Jarrett as a new NWL remake. There's a lot of chaos and none of the stories stick. I mean, on MWL, my storylines were a bit iffy, but my God, these guys stuck to them.
Yeah. It was so much to follow that if you missed a week, you had no fucking clue what was going on.
And there's no recap.
And yeah. And I think that's a big reason why I said, you know what, I'm just going to stick with WWF.
Would you say in 2000, before we get to the final Nitro, would you say 2000, like, I will say 2000, that obviously WWF was the top. I mean, but they were on fire then. They were The Rock and everyone there. Would you say ECW is number 2 and WCW was number 3?
I mean, that's kind of a tough call to make because WCW did have the following. They had like the global audience. ECW, to me, they were still, for lack of a better term, they were still the regional.
Yeah.
They didn't have like the global following that WCW or WWF did. In terms of how good the product was, yeah, absolutely. ECW is the number 2.
Would you say 2000 was the best Lance Storm.
Yeah, I would. I love Lance Storm. Like, you guys know how much I love technical wrestling. You know, my favorite wrestlers being Bret Hart, Sting, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Steve Austin. I love technical wrestling so much.
Yeah. If you're just liking that style, WCW at that time, they had some good technical wrestlers like Lance Storm, and before they went Benoit and stuff like that. 2001 was eerie because we knew that was it the merger of AOL and Time Warner?
Yep.
They did not want wrestling on their channel. It went out for sale. Apparently, it was really, really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Bought by Vince, but during that first couple of months in 2001, you had, I think there was pay-per-views like Greed. Is it Greed? Greed?
Yep, Greed.
Sold out, or some of the ones that never used again. It was eerie, and it was just, they were trying to be big. They were trying to shoot interviews, and it never worked. They had Tammy on one point, and she was trying to be like patrol herself. But then, where was the 2001 in Nitro? Was it in Pensacola, Florida?
I think it was Pensacola.
I love the outdoor. I used to love when there was WCW were outdoor, whether Spring Break or Hog Wild. What was your take on seeing Sting versus Flair, which was the first Nitro match in '95 at the Mall of America, to now? Did it feel sad when it went down? Because by that time, WCW was on WWE TV at the same time in the simulcast. So,
yep.
What was your take on that?
I was legitimately sad to see it go. I blame Vince Russo. That's why my headline for this week is "Fuck Vince Russo." If they had never brought Russo in, just kept it with Eric, I can almost guarantee WCW would have gone further. They might still be around today. Obviously not under AOL Time Warner. But you know what? I think instead of AEW, Tony Khan would have bought WCW eventually.
Really?
If it was still around in 2019 and they were looking for a buyer, I can almost guarantee Tony Khan would have said, "Hey, I've got the money."
Do you think WCW would have been like NWA and just be like in the indies and then wait until Tony came along and then capture that?
No, I could have seen something else happening, like maybe a merger with TNA. Let's see, at that time, 2001. Yeah, 2001 TNA was just up and coming. So
they're just getting into it now. Jeff was just getting the rights and everything.
Yep. So hell, you could have had Jeff Jarrett in charge of the WCW TNA merger. Keep Eric on, let him do the booking. Eric had the money to buy WCW.
Yeah.
But AOL Time Warner said, no, we're not going to sell to you.
Eric wanted the TV on, like the TV deal to be on there and stuff, like the TV rights. But I think AOL just wanted to sell the library and everything WCW have in their catalog, but the TV was not on there, so they did not want wrestling on TNT anymore.
Yep.
And that's how WWE got it cheap. I mean, to buy a video library is not that much, or the rights. Because you look today, Halloween Havoc, Great American Bash, all those is just war games. Like, all those rights now are all WCW and now WWE. I know you blame Vince Russo for a lot of things.
I blame Vince Russo for everything.
I do too. I said we'll find one positive thing. And in between 1999 and 2001, that obviously ain't the thing that WCW closed, which is if it wasn't for the 2000s, thank God they took Vince Russo from WWE, because some of the stuff I've heard that he pitched in WWF, that he even made Vince McMahon go, "What the fuck is this guy smoking?"
Yep.
I think the only reason why WCW failed is because there was no one there to be a filter for Vince Russo. In WWF, you had McMahon. In WCW, he had no one.
Yep.
So, it's a shame, but if it wasn't for Vince Russo going to WCW, then WWF might have been fucked.
Yeah.
And there's always that weird, was it the weird myth that McMahon sent Russo to WCW to kill it?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's definitely believable, but I don't know how much I believe it.
It's a shame, because I Lawrence, one of our viewers on YouTube, he said WCW was awesome. He misses WCW, and we do. I miss probably 96 to 98. I think that was their best period, don't you think?
Yeah, like I'd say even the first 6 months of '99 wasn't horrible, with the exception of the Finger Poke of Doom.
It's just,
I mean, you've got DDP winning the title multiple times. You've got Flair in, the last couple of years of, well, what should have been the last couple of years of his career, winning all these titles. I will say this. After 1998, Goldberg did not hold the WCW World Championship at all.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with who the bookers were.
Yep.
And when he lost to that streak the way he did in Starrcade, there's no coming back.
Yep.
On that lovely note of Goldberg, we'll end this really fun show. It's very unlike us to be a bit negative, but we had to when we cover this area, when we do a WCW month. So, Steve, please tell us what is in store for us this weekend coming for Wrestling Pedigree.
All right. Well, since we had so much negativity tonight, next week we're going to look positively. We are going to rebook the last 3 years of WCW and see what we could do to save WCW from going under.
Do you have any rules like you used to do with me, between you and Brian?
No, it's going to be very open. We're just going to come up with ideas. We're going to shoot off of each other. Say, hey, you know what? Maybe after the Finger Poke of Doom, NWO comes back and they start building all these other factions that join together, take NWO out. that brings new factions to the light, blah, 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 blah. We'll have stuff like that. It's not going to be like you and I usually do, where we'll do match by match. It's going to be coming up with storylines. It's going to be coming up with big moments that would really push WCW into the year 2002, 2003, and beyond.
Oh, I look forward to watching that from my Paris hotel.
Yes, Maddie will be on a holiday,
which is
so
very
you will deal with me as the main host, along with my buddy Ryan. He is a big WCW ECW mark. He will be joining me next week or this coming weekend.
Yes, this coming weekend, and the episode will be out. Probably will be about Sunday or Monday, and then the weekend after, I'm back, and it'll be me and Steve, and that time we'll be talking about Starrcade, that famous Starrcade. I think it's Starrcade '98.
Yeah,
or is it '97? One of the ones where Eric Bischoff fucked it up and Hogan fucked it up. I want to say 97, but we'll find out. But it's one of those Starrcades where we're just going to talk about it, see what happened in the show, and then we have a special episode the following week, where for the week after that, where you'll see on our social medias who will be. So,
yes, we will be having another interview.
I will probably say we might have another 2. We'll have 2 maybe this month.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that second one.
If my politicking is getting good, then yes, we might have 2.
Which would that be somebody that we mentioned tonight?
The 2 people that we're interviewing have been mentioned tonight.
Okay.
It will be fun. Especially the shit that we went through. If they see this show, they'll probably say no. Steve, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me on Facebook under my government name, Steve Akins. You can find me on Instagram under So Many Tragedies. Find me on X under Pedigree_Steve. Find me on TikTok. If you can, let me know what my username is. You can find me on MWL, currently trying to ruin it. And if you can't find me, then it wasn't meant to be.
I love that. How's it going, boy? Fucking up NWL at the moment.
Oh, it's about to get really good.
You got 1 month left.
Yep. I'm about to bring the hammer down.
Also, if you do want to be part of the Meltdown Prediction League, the MWL, they are looking for anyone to join. Probably for next season, for season 8. You create a character with them, just have good promos, predict the matches that they do for AEW, TNA, WWE, or the bosses feeling lucky, GCW sometimes. But with that, you can find Wrestling Pedigree at YouTube. You can find us on Insta. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on TikTok, because we actually know our TikTok. And you can find us on our brand new social media that we're going to try out, which is WhatsApp. So our own channel, WhatsApp, is on there. Myself and Matt is occupying that at the moment, giving him something to do when he's in school. So he's getting some media training going on. And so with that, from myself and Steve, I'll see you in 2 weeks. You'll see Steve this weekend. Enjoy professional wrestling.
And don't be a dick.